Welcome! I wish I could be in all of the Christmas experiences that I know are happening around Lake Country and online this year. We are so grateful for our hostesses for gathering you all in small groups, and the prayer of our planning team has been that we would be able to celebrate Christmas well this year. The theme that we have picked is Bring Christmas Home. And I think if you had to pick a word of the year for 2020, the word home might be it. We were home a lot this year, in houses, apartments, senior living centers, and our backyards. We were home with our families, our roommates, our neighbors, and our fellow residents. Some of us were home by ourselves. Home took on so many new purposes this year too. School, work, entertainment, even church became centered in our homes. For years before 2020, when someone said the word home, it was almost always positive. Home represents a safe shelter, a respite from the world's troubles, and a place where we can just be ourselves, wrinkles and all. But this year, home may not feel like that to all of us. The goodness of home has been threatened, tainted by fear, uncertainty, and isolation. But this Christmas time, could we be reminded of where, or should I say with whom, our true home is? Many of us women work at becoming good homemakers, though none of us would admit to having arrived. We clean bathrooms, cook nutritious meals, we light good smelling candles, all in the attempt to create a homey atmosphere, both for those with whom we share our homes and those we welcome into our homes. We want everyone to feel comfortable and at peace with us, and this is a good thing. But our homes here on earth are only a picture of our true home, and they will ultimately not satisfy. We have placed inside of us a longing for a home that won't let us down, a safe shelter from the storms of life, a place where we can have the freedom to be who we were created to be, and a place where we are known and loved. John 1:14 says, "So the Word became human and made his home among us. He was full of unfailing love and faithfulness." God was at home, and yet he chose to come and make his home with us, and in turn give us an opportunity to be at home with him. Christmas celebrates the beginning of a new way that God would make himself known to us, and it started with him making a home and dwelling with us. And wow, did he come without expectations. The God of the universe entered our space as a helpless baby surrounded by farm animals. Do you think he cared about if the carpets were vacuumed or the mantle was perfectly decorated? No. His desire was to be with us. And actually, that was always his desire from the beginning, from the Garden of Eden. God provided a perfect home for his special creation, the man and woman that he created in his image. Yet in Genesis 3, we read that Adam and Eve's rebellious act against God made it so that their home was tainted by fear, uncertainty, and isolation. And ever since, we long to be back home with God. We long for true peace with him, where we know we are loved by the very one who made us. The author of Psalm 91 declares the truth of finding our home in God alone. Listen to the first two verses. "Those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge, my place of safety. He is my God, and I trust him." If home is a place of refuge, rest, and restoration, then God is the place that we need to look to. The longing we feel for home can't be filled by earthly substitutes, but God's promise is that our perfect home can be found in him. And we know in the end, God's plan is for us to be with him for eternity. In Revelation chapter 21, verse 3, the Apostle John is given a vision of what it will look like when heaven comes to earth. I heard a loud shout from the throne saying, "Look, God's home is now among his people. He will live with them, and they will be his people. God himself will be with them." While we're waiting for God's home to be here on earth, what can we do? How can we live in the truth that our home is in Jesus this Advent season and beyond? Well, here's a couple ideas. Firstly, we can put our faith and trust in God as our shelter so that our expectations for our earthly homes are good and right. We won't look to substitutes and be disappointed. We'll find peace and security in the one place we can find it, Jesus. Second, we can practice homemaking with others, but not in the way you're probably thinking. Instead of focusing on the outward things, we can be welcoming to others, inviting them into our lives to witness how Jesus has made his home in us. This is the good news, that Jesus offers a home for all who come to him. If you haven't found your home with Jesus, to trust him and put your faith in him, I encourage you to search the scriptures that we're looking at during this time with an open heart. Also, talk to someone you know who has placed their faith in Jesus as their home and ask them what difference it's made in their lives. Over 2,000 years ago, God himself, the Word, Jesus Christ, put on human flesh and made his way to earth to make his home with us. He did this to show his unfailing love and faithfulness. Jesus did this to show us the true definition of home. Thank you, hostesses, for welcoming guests into your homes and online, and thank you all for joining us. May we bring Christmas home as we make Jesus our home. Merry Christmas.